We're up to a new siman, believe it or not. And the subject of Tircha de Tzibura is, I call this always an important subject because we live in a society that precision is should be taken out of the dictionary. I don't think that deserves to be mentioned. It's not a precise word at all, precision. But the idea of having people wait is a enormous issue. I say over all the time the story of Rabbi Dushitzer, which is not a halacha, and I don't want anybody to do it because they heard me say this, because if you do it, it's just a joke, because you have to be there to do it. Rabbi Dushitzer, he lived in Petach Tikva, as a Talmud of Chofetz Chaim, and he never rang the bell to get off the bus. He said, why should all the people on the bus have to wait for me to get off? Now we all understand that he has a right to ring the bell and all that stuff. But the mice here making people wait. And Rabbi Kamenetsky told my father once, when you come to a tzomet in traffic and there's a bus, you have to let the bus go first because they're a robbing. Now, whether this is exactly correct or incorrect, la halacha is irrelevant. He was telling him a yesod. And I see this all the time. Everybody sees things through their eyes, and I'm just as guilty as everybody else. Hopefully a little bit less guilty than everybody else, but at least I'm aware that I'm guilty. Person's crossing at the crosswalk. How much time should it take to cross at the crosswalk? Depends if you're on the phone.
Depends if it's a very old man, it takes time.
No, if it's an old man, that's a malasot, right? A malasot. The old man is an old man. But there are people who they say that I have this right, and therefore I'm going to exercise it. The reason why I was given the right is because we have to have laws. But when you're going to cause a tzibur to wait, so then you have abused a right that you have. Could be that you are within your textual rights, but it wasn't given for you to abuse. Okay? And this is we have a inyan of Tircha de Tzibura that we're going to discuss more than one time tonight. Excuse me. Shliach Tzibur, ein Shliach Tzibur Rishoy lahafshit teva b'tzibur kozman shehem b'beis haknesses. The teva we're talking about is the Aron Kodesh, and they used to bring it in and take it out. No, it's not like they but take it away. It's not the shulchan what we have. Perish Rashi, shall give lahavi sefer Torah mi Beis acher, shima shameres boy, ache terech tzibur holis akiv sham, and people are going to have to wait. So the halacha is that since we have to wait for the sefer Torah, and the sefer Torah is going to have its arm be dismantled, so we all have to wait for that to happen. So therefore, you can't take it apart. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Kol Makom Teva B'Yusha Aron Kodesh. The word Teva means Aron Kodesh. The Teva Murakan Shulchan Shesever Torah Munach Alav Shekarem Boy. Sheim is Shameres. The person begodim Noah Misav Teva Lekavod Sefer Torah. And I would just like to tell you something. Sometimes people ask me, how do you know these minhagim? And I say, I don't know. You pick them up. I'm going to tell you a minig that I heard from my father, and then I saw that it's brought down in the earlier Paiskim, and then a minig that I saw in Igros Moshe in Hilchos Shabbos. This shul has a paroiches. This shul is 100% okay in the Aron Kodesh department. The other parts of the shul that could use improvement as far as minhagim are concerned, but the Aron Kodesh is okay. There's a new, better, smarter approach, which I've seen in shuls, that they have a beautiful wooden external to the Sefer Torah, and inside there's a broiches, the exact opposite of what we have over here. And the first time I was in a shul like that, and I mentioned it to my father, I said, well, that's very nice. He says, that's not the minig. The broich is supposed to be on the outside. All right. I'm wise enough. I know my father for all my life to be quiet and just accept that. And as years went by, I saw that that's not going to minig, and there are different reasons given for that. I recall the first time when I came to Panovich, and I saw the famous Panovich Aron Kodesh, I was shocked. These modern guys in Panovich. Now we know where that Aron Kodesh came from, but in truth, Italy, it's not so clear who was running what at what time to draw any conclusions. I don't recall which earlier Bali Minhagim I saw that says it one way, but that's 1 minute. And that one I want to talk about. I just want to tell you a different one that Moshe discusses. In many shuls, they have an Aron Kodesh which is on a drawstring. You pull the string and the curtain moves. There are two kinds. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That doesn't bother me. I mean, it bothers me for practical reasons. I don't like it, but that's not no minig reasons that bother me. There are some that actually it's just like drapes, the havdil, that you pull it and it separates and it comes apart. So in the Igros Moshe, there's a question about paroiches that had the name written that went across from one to the other, and when you drew the curtains, so you separated two letters in the name, and when you close the curtain, what are you laughing about? I didn't make this up.
It's very common. What? It's very common. There are many shuls that have that.
Okay. Well, so the Moshe says it's a shaila halacha. Okay, But you think I made that up just now? A whole afternoon I was laying in my bed trying to. What? What?
In the word, not between words.
Yeah. So, and after he discusses the halachic issue, it's like this very dry thing at the end. He says, "V'haminig hu shepareiches here echad." The whole, So how do I know that minig? Because I found it in the tshuva. Say that I haven't heard of Moshe Feinstein since this morning. Someone sent me a recording of a speech that he gave. So it's a pleasure to hear him for so many years. But that's a minig, and I just want to say, since I'm on that minig, recently, in the last 5 years, I gave a class, and I said that there are many people who have sweaters that you zip them up, and there's writing across the sweater, and the same child exists. So he said, what do? I said, that's not a problem. Nobody should be wearing a sweater like that on Shabbos anyways. Right? This was all a setup to say that line, you understand? If you're wearing that sweater on Shabbos, you're doing something wrong beforehand. But, exactly. But in truth, when I said this in a class, I'm just saying this over because I found it rather intriguing. Someone said, so that would be by picture true. I said 100%. So there's a lot of times baby stretchies and things, they have all kinds of pictures on them. And when you snap it together, you zip it up, so you complete the picture. So I said, yeah, that sounds good. That should be usher according to what I'm saying. I never heard about this. So I went home and I asked my wife, did we ever have she said, oh, sure, of course you're not allowed to use that on Shabbos. I said, how come I never heard about it? So she looks at me as a wife looks at her husband and says, don't you know, when we had kids, so the dugmaot were adin. Today everything's bombastic, you know what I mean? So I said we didn't have that issue because the issue didn't exist. Just, but you knew that, I guess, the last time around, 10 years before that, these things just go in cycles. It's not like, it depends when you got on and off the Ferris wheel, exactly. But it's all the same thing. But that's a nakuda, just sharing that with you. Lamaisa, this is okay. This over here and that's why I'm pointing it out. If you go to some shuls, you'll see a very strange meaning. They have exactly like we have over here. They have the shulchan, and they have a glass or a plastic or something on it. There's this nice velvet thing. And before Kriyas Torah, so they take out another velvet tablecloth. What do you call it? What? Yeah.
Cover.
And they put it on, and they use it. What's that all about? What's going on? We have that wouldn't be in this shul because we have Ari Waldman here, and he comes with his spritz bottle, and he always makes sure that it's clean and mechubat. We don't have that problem here in the shul. That's why we don't have. Now I know that's why we don't have the extra cloth. But the reason for it is because there's an issue which we'll learn about in Mitzvah Shem. We get to Hilchos Beis Knesset. This is not really so gewaldig. This is improper, technically, that the pushkas should be on the bima. They're not allowed to be on the bima. Anything is on. There's a tonight. Bezdin, Mitzvah Shem will learn about this. Not the Torah, only a Sefer Torah. Oh, I would just have, since we're on the subject, I probably forget about it when I was about a month and a half ago. I was in a shul, and there was two Kriyas Torahs that day, and they have like in this shul they have these little plaques or something that you can put them on the Sefer Torah. It says Maftir, Parsha Shavua. They have these little signs. And they had this old beaten up one, and it was on the Sefer Torah. And there was a world famous Pesach that was there in this minyan, and I couldn't control myself. After davening, I went over and I said, "Are you allowed to put that on the Sefer Torah?" He said, "No." Just like that, dry no. I said, "Why is that there?" That's there so the guy taking out the Sefer Torah should have an easier time. There are other ways to take care of this problem. Now he said to me, obviously, if we're made out of silver, if we're made of the thing that it beautifies the Sefer Torah, you have all kinds of stuff you can have on the Sefer Torah, and if it's there and it beautifies the Sefer Torah, that's 100% Beseder. But if it's just there to make your life easier, the Sefer Torah is not a hanger to make your life easier. Yeah, so that's why I have Gabayim. Yeah, we had that happen right here. This on Tisha B'Av. Okay, it was a mess up. I want to tell you something. I've even seen with the things on it that the guy takes out the wrong one. It takes out whatever he wants to take out. That's all. Nobody who looks right. What? It happens. I'm saying it happens. The people who pay attention ask if they don't know, and the people who don't pay attention just do whatever they want. There's people who just reverse without looking in the rearview mirror. All kinds of people out there. Anyways, they're on cruise control, yeah, whatever. But just saying that these are now a friend of mine. I mentioned this to after. It's 100% mutter. We always disagree. This friend of mine, 100% mutter. Anything that's there, so that at the end of the day it'll be more efficient. It's mutter. But get so we got into the whole discussion about that. But the bottom line over here is the extra. This is what I understand. The extra tablecloth on the thing is a expression of the halacha we're about to learn here in the Mishnah Berurah. Uparsim Beis. Uparsim begodim noim sabiv hateva lekavod sefer Torah. Ukshiyos mitzvah sefer Torah nasul Beis mishtamer bo v'yasher shechus teva. What's this uparsim begodim noim sabiv hateva? Because extra covered. If has what's come kind of a tonight, if I can put the Sefer Torah on something which is just made for Sefer Torah, so then that's better. So the truth of the matter is, I'm very happy we don't have one over here, because I have issues with that extra tablecloth, and that is the Gabbai a lot of times puts his chumash on it. He puts his chumash on it. I don't think he'll have to put chumash on it. So I've seen Gaboim that are medactic in that they move it away and they put their chumash under. That's just wonderful, but it's not zelo. It's a little lechtov, you know what I mean? So I rather skip it than have one that's gonna have a kedusha. People are going to not be Makayim, the halachas proper. Could be, but then you just messed up the whole thing. That doesn't takes away from the covet of the whole thing. Which Agav, I'm just mentioning this right now, since we're here in the shul, let's make a public statement. There are certain things that in the shul that I davened in Yerushalayim before I came here. So I was there not long afterwards, and I saw they put inside the door, they put the Brich Shmei, like they have here. And I said, I don't think you're allowed to do that. And that's wonderful. Oh, we have one inside the door also. They used to, they took it out. And there's all kinds of questions. If it wasn't with the Tanai, what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do. Anyways, there could be it was done with the Tanai. And what? That you're allowing other things to be put there besides Sefer Torah. According to the strict halacha, we're going to learn about this when Beis Knesset. You should not be able to put a puzzle Sefer Torah inside the Kodesh. Forget about a chumash. A puzzle Sefer Torah. That was the only thing that was in there, was made to put in there. If it was made to do that, then it's okay. But you cannot downgrade it. You cannot downgrade it. So if it was made with a Tanai, Mitzvah, we'll learn about this when we learn Beis Knesset, which should be shortly by Toshin Pei Gimel. We should get there. But no, we're going. We get there before Pei Gimel, I would imagine. Anyways. Put a candle in. Whoa, what a discussion is about that. There's a war on that minute. A war in the place of 400 years ago. Who says you're allowed to put a candle in? Even though you're doing it the kavod or kodesh, but it's not a Sefer Torah. And there are those who say that should not be done. Those say that should be done. And Baruch Hashem, nobody over here knows about that minute, and I'm happy it's not done.
Why candle?
It's because like a neshama, a ner, that's a doveruchti. That's the.
So where would you put the Pasuk Sefer Torah? You're gonna just leave it any place? It needs to be put in a place that's covered thick also.
I want to tell you something. You're in Eretz Yisrael about 50 years ago, 40 or 50 years ago, there was a revolution of a chidush. In old shuls, but if you go to Europe, shuls of 150 years ago, that had a cloth for the Haftarah, which we have one, we're trying to get the rest. Anybody like to donate the rest of the set? We'd be happy to take your donation. Anyways, so all of them would go underneath the bima, just like we have the Megillas over here. That's not really proper cover. So what was done was they started to build a second Aron Kodesh just for Nevi'im. This is a chumrah which was invented about 50 years ago, because that's cleared for it to be standing as more of a cover than for it to be laying down, and being that it's Kisvei HaKodesh, that's what should be done, and that was created a new thing. You never saw that when you were a kid. You probably never saw a cloth when you were a kid. Yeah, this is a new religion. Everybody read themselves. Yeah. Even without the words. Whatever. Yeah, the words came out. What? What? No, problem is laying down. It's supposed to be standing. That's the Korot, whatever. I just say that became a new chum. When I say new chum, not that the subject existed beforehand, but the pitaron became a pitaron of lakes. If I'm not mistaken, it's only 40 years old. That whole chumrah. Mitzvah will get one when we get the rest of our view. Anyways, this is a paid commercial.
One of the gzeros of Bo Bayom was on Kisvei Kodesh, because people would put their food with the Kisvei Kodesh.
Right.
Yeah. They should have been allowed to do that, let alone the problem with rats. They shouldn't have been allowed to do that anyway.
Why?
If they're putting it with a Sefer Torah or something.
Depends on the Sefer Torah. 1 second. If I'm taking a Sefer Torah to Chutz La'aretz, you know where I put it? In my
Carry.
suitcase. If I can, they'll let me, right? Depends when, right? And this is discussed in the Paiskim. The Chemed discusses it. If you could send it in the mail, but a person will take it and I'll put it together other things. I only had once in my life. I flew from America to Eretz Yisrael, and I saw something which I don't think I was ever so shocked in my life, and I hope never to see it again. Was Monday or Thursday, and was in that little place where all the meals come out of. I wouldn't even call it a kitchen. I think the word is much proper. What they call it a galley, because my pictures that I conjure up in a galley is basically what that place looks like. And the guy said Kaddish, and then the guy said Ashriga, and the guy pulls out a Sefer Torah out of his pocket. A Sefer Torah about this big, and it was all there. And we lay. And it's usher to keep a Sefer Torah like that in your pocket. It has to be held. But I was just like, wow. It was like, but that's B'diavad. We skipped this halacha. I'll just mention it right now, because this we're supposed to have learned, and we didn't learn it. In this shul, when they built this I don't know what you call this. No, but the around part of it, of the bima, I came in and my heart sunk. And then I took a better look and I was very happy. Because I saw like this wicker work in the corners of the benches. And I was sure that I was going to find over there 2 holes in a piece of wood. And there are many shuls that they take the Sefer Torah and they have I don't know what I don't know what it's called exactly.
Display.
It's not a display. It's
I don't understand.
what?
It's a stand.
A stand. Yeah, okay, but they use it as a cordon off stand. And there's a big machlekes a place if you want to do that. So if it's a bezoin to the Sefer Torah or not. And I saw this cordoned off thing, and I was sure that I was going to have a problem. And I took a look and I saw there were no holes in it. I said, wow, boy, am I lucky. It's just for Talaisim. Okay, so I wasn't involved in the ordering of it. But when it came, I was very happy to see that there were no holes inside. Anyways, that's what you're supposed to do. I know. I think I did it once. The whole trip to America holding a Sefer Torah. What?
Every Monday and Thursday. We'll keep it locked up in a box.
Where do they keep it?
Someone's house. Someone's house. It brings it in. And they lock it in a box and then take it out.
I don't understand. It's on it.
No, he brings it to the tray.
Somebody brings it every time to the tray.
Sure. Keeps it at home and brings it
To the train, and where does it stay on the train?
the locked box.
It has some kind of an aura there.
Yeah, not a high on it. It's like but it's share level lower than the chair.
What?
Even under the chair.
This, the answer to the question is, always after everything is said and done, you have to be practical. You have to be able to do it too, right? But you do what you can do. So if you can have a place that's proper, then it's fine. This halacha over here, in other words, let's just make this clear. We have an Aron Kodesh over there. We really should keep a Sefer Torah in there and learn from the Sefer Torah in there and leave it there. That's more covered. You know what we don't?
It's not safe.
That's right, because we wanted to be able to have a Sefer Torah to put there, right? So the covenant of the Sefer Torah is that it comes here. No, it's not because we don't have a place there. We have a place, but we want to make sure we have the Sefer Torah. So that's why we'll go back. We'll have extra millions, so then we'll put a safe over there too. Each one has a different price. Because I think that I remember. I just priced it not long ago. I could have written down. We can figure it out. It goes by that mood. All right. Anyways, the that's the subject over here of having it in the thing. Now it says, why? Why? Ella, Modach Sefer Torah. First, you remove the Sefer Torah. Vehem yotzim acharav, and they escort the Sefer Torah out. Because the Beis HaKnesset umavshir hateva, and then that's what it should be done, so that there shouldn't be a tircha de tzibura of having people have to wait for the Sefer Torah. So this way, you don't. Whatever you can do should be done. All right. Next, we did a whole sermon in one day. All right. And atzibur rishoyim lotzes in Beis HaKnesset ad she'atzienu Sefer Torah, which is basically the halacha which we just learned. Miyum enam yotzim rak yochid les lambo. No, it's not that there's a halacha that you're not allowed to leave when the Sefer Torah is there. The Sefer Torah has to be there when the tzibur is there. But it's not a halacha on the yochid. It's the tzibur. Of Krit, there's always yes, but that's what we're talking about right now. We're talking about this post-Krit Torah, right? They're actually Volitzim or whatever. Always there's someone upset. That's we learned a little bit about that halacha. If you're allowed to leave ben gavra or not. That's not this halacha. This is that is a yachid leaving. In other words, when they're finished, so then they're an ashri will tzir. Everybody says you can go. There's a question of leaving in the middle of Kriyas HaTorah. It's like you don't want to hear what it's saying. That has to do with the limud HaTorah aspect. It has to do with the kavod HaTorah aspect. Different akuda. All right, that's the only time that the tzibur leaves when the Sefer Torah is here is by Yisker. All right, now unfortunately, this shul there's usually a million of people that are here for Yisker, but in other shuls it's not like that. But that's not because we're leaving because we're leaving. It's because we're leaving because we're stepping out for Yisker to happen. All right, v'matzin Sefer Torah b'vayis acher. It made the Beis HaKnesset al Pesach echad tzichel es akiv ad sheyetze Sefer Torah v'yechu achar l'makom shmatzil ois hasham. V'yesh Beis HaKnesset shnei psachim. Echad l'matzis al Pesach echad kodem sheyetze Sefer Torah Pesach acher. V'vad sheyechu achar Sefer Torah yilevayehu l'makom shmatzil ois hasham. Again, in other words, you can't beat the Sefer Torah out. In other words, if you are mishtamit, if you slipped out a back door, that could be okay. But if you're going out before the Sefer Torah, who's more important? Who goes first? All right. Let's just continue with the Ramah. We'll cover Shematzino Yisrael by Heichos Shor and Kode Shor Arba Beis HaKnesset Mitzvah L'chol Mi She'averes L'fonu L'avoisa Al Lifnei Ha'aron Shemachnis Lo Yisrael Sham. Who has to be malavet? No, that's not what it says. What does that mean? Right, no, it's the people around the aisle. Okay, now the cowboy in the Seder Hayom, we discuss a little bit about Yitzia Sefer Torah, about Ketanim and did a Chibur Mitzvah, but over here we're talking about the taking the Sefer Torah out. It's a different nakuda. This is not a nakuda of B'Shatz Kriyas HaTorah. This is a dinam covenant Sefer Torah. The Sefer Torah should not be alone when while it's going away. And it's not Yitzia Sefer Torah. This is Sefer Torah leaving its domain, going to a different domain. No. That's a shiloh if that's like that. This is all in this. Is this called all in the same place or not? Here we're talking about that we're laying over here and we'll keep the Sefer Torah, or in Corona times, they lay in the parking lot Elio Jacobs parking lot, whatever that's called over there, right? They land over there, then they kept the Sefer Torah here. So that's called taking it to a different place. Here, this is a different room inside the same place, which is a discussion whether this halacha applies. It's actually Machlokes Achronim. Kaf HaChaim discusses. It's not, you're for sure not wrong. Question is if you're right according to everyone. But no, it's not the classical case we're talking about. Classical we're talking about is in two different domains altogether. Let's just finish the Ramah. V'chein goylog yelech achar sefer Torah ad lefnei Aaron, v'oimet sham ad sheyachzor sefer Torah v'koymoy. That's the standard sefer Torah gets back. V'chein nogim hamagbiya sefer Torah ki hu ikar hakoylog k'mo shezbar. V'yesh hakazu shemagbiim hatinokos hanach shekatayro k'dei lechancham u'lezarzom b'mitzvos. V'chein nogim. What mitzvah is there in Kitzur Sefer Torah? I want to tell you something. I was very nice. Okay, I agree with all. I agree with all what both of you are saying, and I could still ask the same question. And I'm not sure your answer is a legitimate answer. What was the question I asked? No, that's not what I asked. That's what you answered. You answered the question that you heard. We didn't answer the question I asked. I asked what? I said, what is the mitzvah? That's what I asked. What? It's not a mitzvah. So now the truth of the matter is that my question was illegitimate. Just pointing out. What does it say in the Ramah? For those of us, it's questionable on my thing. A very ambiguous Ramah. What does it say? Gil, what does it say? This way we're going to get them to do mitzvahs in general. In general. It's not that there's a mitzvah. You're not saying there's a mitzvah over here particular that's being done. Maybe there is, maybe it isn't. It's a tool. It's a tool that we're using to cause endearment to the children for mitzvahs. We say, oh, there's a Torah and you have to stop and you have to do things. This is that's what it says over here. It doesn't mean that it's a mitzvah. It's your answer is correct, but it wasn't the answer to the question that I asked. Okay, let's see.
Hello.
I will just tell you. I would like to quote the chief rabbi of modern Orthodoxy. Anybody would like to take a guess who I would call the chief rabbi of modern Orthodoxy? Rabbi Soloveitchik. Rabbi Soloveitchik was vehemently, the Rav, that's not the Rav, that's what it's called. He was vehemently opposed to this practice, and he spoke against it countless times. And his Talmidim were the ones that instituted. Now, just a historical fact. Now, I would like to, since you brought it up, and I'm not afraid to discuss the issue.
What is the issue?
Rabbi Soloveitchik was vehement. Now, wait a second. I want to make this clear.
I know
Rabbi Soloveitchik was the one
about.
who was vociferously against it. It doesn't mean that Moshe Feinstein was for it. Just he didn't have the question. You understand that? That's not. You have to understand. Not every question. No one ever asked the question to
I don't know what the issue is. What's being
discussed? The question
was
on Simchas Torah. They would bring the Sefer Torah to where the women are, so that the women can kiss the Sefer Torah.
Okay.
Right? I don't think anyone ever asked this question to Boyash. I don't think so. I don't know, but I don't think so. Okay. It's relevant. No, it's the whole. What is the connection, and how is it supposed to be expressed? Because I understand that this is the subject. Okay, this is not just
mitzvahs apply also there.
Because it's not their mitzvah.
What do you mean it's not their mitzvahs? I thought we were saying Chabad general mitzvahs.
First of all, just to make something clear. The only time that I know of that it says that the Sefer Torah should be moved so that people should kiss it is on Yom Kippur. You want to kiss the Sefer Torah, you go to the Sefer Torah. What is this? This is got a tustus guy over here to bring you a Sefer Torah? You want a Sefer Torah, you move yourself. What's it? Right? Now, obviously, the women can't do that. So that's obvious. What?
One time they finished the Torah on Yom Kippur before we had Simchas Torah.
Yeah, but this is done. This has to do with Hataras Nedarim and why it's done. If I'm not mistaken, there's a great discussion about why they have this. That is a chariga that needs to be explained because you don't take the Sefer Torah to the person, you take the person to the Sefer Torah, and this was even discussed at the end of persons in jail. We don't bring them a Sefer Torah to learn from because Sefer Torahs don't go to people. People go to Sefer Torahs. That's the. Where is that? The end of some simon.
It's one in jail. Commission a Sefer Torah.
You can commission, but you can't bring it there.
You can't have it delivered to because
B'nei Adam hachavushim bebeis hasurim ein meviim mei Sefer Torah afilu Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. Now, well, I just want to make it be fair. Here, they were talking about taking it to a different domain, right? We're not talking about what. Yeah, I don't know, but I mean to say is I'm not talking. It's not talking about going from here to there. No, but the concept exists that they don't take a Sefer Torah to a person. Person goes to Sefer Torah, which is I don't think it needs any explanation. That's Muvan Meila.
So all these places in Eretz Yisrael, the Torah is where?
Zero. What does Torah name mean?
In prison, in some prisons.
No. They're the Sefer Torah. The Sefer Torah is they're the Sefer Torah is there permanently. Here we're talking about taking it to
From a shul.
it's on loan to the person. No, not the, you can have a Sefer Torah wherever there are people there. As long as it's its home, it's fine. You have it be his home wherever it is. That's not a problem. All right. Anyways, we'll stop over here. Yes, we'll continue.